Data analytics.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
We're gonna get into our routine with Daily Tennessee Jackpot. You got $1? Let's have some fun with it. Let's get those numbers going. How many are we picking? And 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5. Let's go! All of us Tennesseans are having fun now. Let's play and play.
Work out a win with drawings every day when you play Daily Tennessee Jackpot. Only from the Tennessee Lottery. Game-changing fun. Please play responsibly.
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening.
It's the afternoon stretch with Zach Williams and Bruno Reagan.
Everybody stay calm. Stay calm.
Let's take some calls from the public, shall we?
Join the afternoon stretch now on the Cure Hotline, 615-844-5600. Now here's Bruno and Zach.
Four o'clock here in the afternoon inside the Music City. Bruno Reagan, Devlin McKenzie, Zach Williams here inside the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio. I forgot my own intro there for just a second. That's a wild one. But it is a day to be remembered. November 9th, 2022. Here on the afternoon stretch, Zach Williams is officially verified on Twitter. What a day here in the Music City. And what a day for all of you to be witness to something so great. And I don't care how I got it. I got it. Bruno Reagan, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I've been trying to think of all the other things that happened. If you were one of those responsible citizens and voted, congrats. I hope your team won. If not, to hold this L. I just treat everything like sports.
Yeah, it was a real team game. What happened yesterday?
I will say it does make me a little sad I didn't get into politics because it'd be such an easy thing to like get big in. You know, you just, I mean, really.
Well, you're big in anything.
Yeah, that is true. But I think
muscular.
I think I could get so big in politics. It just seems so easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just seems like an easy little.
It can't be too hard.
No.
You just pick a side and you just really dive in.
Really.
You know, at least with sports,
Charlie Kirk was on like Facebook, like crying or something. I was like, I could do that.
I mean, you like with sports, you either pick Vanderbilt or you pick Tennessee or you pick whatever team, OSU if you're Devlin. No matter what, people are going to hate you because you're that team.
Yeah.
And then you have millions of opponents that are out there. It's just 50-50 pretty much in politics.
No, isn't it always interesting how it's like perfectly like close every single time? Like one side doesn't ever get like too far ahead. What is that? There has to be something. There's something weird behind that, like how we're so evenly split. I feel like there's people like me out there that are just like, which one's losing? And then they vote for that one, you know? They're like, I love a good underdog story.
Oh, you like an underdog story?
Yeah.
Yeah. 615-844-5600. That is the Cure Hotline. If you want to jump in, we want to hear from you here till 6 o'clock today, so plenty of time to jump in. Arya Gerson will be joining us at 4:25, talking all things Vanderbilt. We're going to talk football. We're going to talk basketball with her as now the basketball season is fully underway. Vandy men's basketball starting out with an L 2 nights ago, but women's basketball, 1-0 here on this very station, so very good there for them. But once again,
it's almost as if Vandy sports that are on the station do well.
It's weird.
Hop on.
Yeah.
Hop on this wave.
I want to start today because first off, Devlin McKenzie. How are you doing today, sir?
Doing good.
Doing good.
Thanks for having me.
Devlin, obviously I'm verified, and if you've been under a rock, there's Twitter Blue started today. You might be asking yourself, Zach, how does this have to do anything with sports? Well, our very own Devlin McKenzie has been gotten very hard today.
He's been bamboozled.
He's been run amok.
I mean, I've been bamboozled before. There's nothing better than getting bamboozled. I think it's funny. And
I have not. I'm proud to say that. And that is a true statement.
There was one
because I don't believe anything I read on the internet, regardless.
There was a few times where it wasn't fair. Like that time I woke up and that guy went to Live Golf, who won.
Cameron Smith.
Yes, yeah, that one wasn't fair. I mean, unironically awoken, looked at my phone, was like, oh wow, you know. So
But Twitter Blue came out today. That is a paid service through Twitter that you can get verified on Twitter. That's the open end of everything. But there's a lot of fake news. I mean, a lot of fake news that is swarming with this, because before all this, a verification symbol, which was just kind of slap happily given out here or there.
That you couldn't get, but I could.
Yeah.
Let's remember that.
Tell us how you woke up one day and it just happened.
I was already
Thank
awake.
you, XFL.
I was already awake. I was in my locker waiting to travel. We
Yeah.
were going to, I can't remember where, but
To
we
play
were traveling
football.
somewhere.
Yeah.
It was one of our away games. One of the first, Dallas. It was when we were driving to Dallas.
Dallas Roughnecks. Is that who the Roughnecks were?
Renegades.
Renegades.
Houston Roughnecks. Yeah.
Um,
They're now the Arlington.
Oh, okay. There you go. But Devlin, do you want to talk about your stories today that because you're opposed by this?
Yeah, no, I mean, I can't stand it. I think eventually one day the people without blue check marks are going to have more credibility than the ones with blue check marks. I'm sick of this.
This sounds like an uprising.
I get on Twitter today to the blue check mark world. Everybody's got one, and I really didn't follow. I really didn't know what was going on, and I'm seeing tweets from fake Adam Schefter. It just says Adam Schefter not, but I don't see the not whenever I look at the tweet because I'm so fascinated by the tweet because I think it's Adam Schefter. And the tweets are like Justin
LeBron James
Fields
traded.
I mean, stupid stuff like that. Justin Fields gets suspended. Another one was Raiders fire their head coach. I mean, there was so many, and every single one of them clowned me.
Yes.
Got me good.
They really did get Devlin, and they've been getting a lot of people. But the good news is those accounts are getting suspended, and eventually people are going to stop paying $8 a month for a joke. I assume. We'll see. I don't know how this is all going to play out either. But right now it's hilarious.
It's madness. I'm sick of it.
As long as I get an excuse to start getting off the Bird app, because I feel obligated, because that's how you grow organically in like a local market. Like I feel like we've done, like our show in the past year has like outreached a lot of local people. Like there was a show 3 weeks ago, or 3 days ago maybe, or last week, where we were like, wow, that was a lot of Nashville-based people listening and interacting with the show. That was awesome. And that's something Twitter's good for. Now you can go national with Twitter, but you typically go YouTube Shorts or TikTok Shorts if you want to go that route. But if we do lose Twitter, to like just who knows what they'll do next. I mean, think of the craziest idea in the world, but it makes Twitter money.
Yeah.
It might go that route, which is what most big businesses do nowadays.
But do you know what this does for the show?
What?
We are now the official only show on Nashville Sports Radio fully verified.
I don't believe that.
Yeah. On this station.
Okay.
We are Nashville Sports Radio, which we are Nashville Sports Radio.
Oh, well, I thought you meant the entire space.
No. Nashville Sports Radio, WNSR. We're the only fully verified show now on this.
I don't know. I just feel like I don't want to be included in that award. It just feels like Mickey Mouse,
No, I want to be included in that award. I've been chasing this dragon for 8 years.
Well, how does it feel?
Feels great. I don't care how I got it. It feels great. I feel better than other people.
Yeah. That's insane.
I'm joking. No, it's an interesting thing. It's a really interesting social debacle because, I mean, still, even though I'm like, I paid for it, I've seen people going on Twitter talking about, look, I like to include myself in a camp, and Bruno would attest to this, I assume for me, that I probably should be verified. And there's a lot of other really good reporters just in the sports world, that have not been verified because it's such a weird world trying to get it that there really was no answer, rhyme, or reason. And if you think this is the first time people have paid to be verified on Twitter, you're wildly mistaken. So the whole Twitter verification thing is very, very real. It's very, very real, regardless of how you get it. But there's a lot of people out there that I just know that look, we had Alex Daugherty on yesterday. Alex Daugherty, who does a great job covering the Preds, does one of the best jobs covering the Preds. He wasn't verified. Now he is. He deserved to be verified. There's a lot of people that are out there that do jobs like this that actually do deserve to be verified. Will the trolls mess it up for everybody? Who knows? But that's my 2 cents on it. I mean, you think I'm wrong there?
I just think it's extremely irrelevant. Who cares who's verified and who's not? The point of verification is identity. It's not,
That's what I'm saying, though. That's what I'm saying. It's good for that sense
well,
of
you shouldn't have to pay to be identified by an app.
I agree.
If you want to pay for Twitter Blue and all the features it comes with, that's
which
fine.
It also comes with the edit stuff, which I need. 100%. I put out just way too quick of tweets.
I've been opposed to this forever because that was the whole thing when he was buying it. He was like, we're going to get rid of the bots and we're going to get rid of the impersonation. Well, he was like, we'll verify everybody if you're a real person. I was like, that makes sense. But to pay to be verified just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think they're done in the way that they're going to be doing this either, by the way. That's just my 2 cents on it.
Well, you're not going to not pay anymore. Like, now that genie's out of the bottle, they're going to take that. They're not going to close down that revenue stream.
Oh, for sure. But once again, it's not just the verification, right? Like, all the other things that it comes with. Who knows? We'll see. If you want to call in, the Cure Hotline, 615-844-5600. We want to hear from you. A lot of things going on in the world of sports today, but we're still trying to figure out what's going on with Ryan Tannehill and the Tennessee Titans. They got out there to practice today. The big news out of all that is that designated to return is Treylon Burks. How important is it for this team to get Treylon Burks back on the field?
It means absolutely everything because they have, frankly, zero option. They have zero option outside of Treylon Burks, who has a decent skill set. I don't think he's going to be like an A.J. Brown type, but he at least offers – someone who can get 6 to, at max, like a great day, 12 receptions, and that's a lot of offensive production that gets it out of Henry's hands. Now, coming off injury, we'll see. We'll see because everyone reacts a little differently when you get into the games. Full-speed football in the National Football League, different beast, man. It's a different beast. And being injured, like, it could be the smallest injury in the world. That can change your whole career. Some people come back from blown, totally torn ACL knees, so it just depends. It's case by case.
Earlier today on the practice field over at St. Thomas Sports Park, Ryan Tannehill did get involved in practice, took some reps, unpadded obviously, but was out there on the field. Still looked like he was gingerly taking care of that right ankle, which is where he was hurt, obviously, back on that Colts game. Coming back from an ankle injury when you're a quarterback, obviously it's his right ankle. He throws with his right hand, so that is his push-off ankle. We saw Malik Willis be, not good. That's the real answer out of this against the Chiefs. Obviously, you're not going to be playing the Chiefs week in, week out. How quickly does Ryan Tannehill need to be back on this team?
Right now. Well, I say that, but the problem is what happened with Derrick Henry. He comes out flat in the playoff because he was injured down the tail end. Ryan Tannehill, you don't want him to be injured too long. You want him to still be out there getting reps and perfecting his craft during the season so that way when you get to the playoffs, you can make a run. But, frankly, the AFC South, you don't need Ryan Tannehill to probably clinch the division. Yeah. Now, do we want to clinch it with 7 wins? No, but
it's a real possibility, though.
It feels like
there's a real world where that could happen, and you don't want to bring back Ryan Tannehill if he's hobbled and there's a chance that he has more chance for re-aggravation or even worse, a worsened injury. You coming back just from the USFL, you came back with what happened to your knee within, what, a week, 2 weeks at that time frame? This is still, though, you get into those ligaments.
What do you mean come back?
Trying to play again.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they told me you could make it in 2 weeks, and then I tried in 2 weeks, and I was like, this is impossible. And then I did, and then 4 weeks later, I was like, it's not getting better. This is bad. Yeah. So it just depends.
Yeah, well, and that's just ligament damage, right? That's what we're talking about here. It's the same thing when you get into ankles, obviously. So for Tannehill, and in this world, or really just the Titans as a whole, you have to figure out what's the give and take of bringing Tannehill on, like the risk reward of bringing Tannehill on the field. What are you going to get from Ryan Tannehill that you're not getting from Malik Willis? One, you're not going to get mobility. We know that. If you bring Tannehill on, you're not going to get the same mobility at all that you're going to have with Malik.
Overrated.
Possibly. I think it's a fair topic, though. But when they did get him out in space,
it is when you have the left side of the Titans O-line. Yes, you need a little bit of mobility.
Yeah. Well, and then that brings up the other side of that mobility, that if you bring Ryan Tannehill on the field and you're having that Aaron Brewer daily stack that is not working on the left side, you're screwing Ryan Tannehill no matter what. He can't escape any kind of pocket with a hurt ankle. That's just going to be a fact of a matter. And with at least Malik, he can get away to give himself a chance. You got Malik Willis coming out talking after the Chiefs game saying, I just hope somebody gets open. That's a huge problem.
Yeah, well, and that was a tongue-in-cheek comment. I know it's taken a little bit out of context. He was more so just joking around. I think Malik Willis deep down knows, like, he's like, I'm really not at this level yet. And they don't give you a lot of time to get at that level. Luckily, he was drafted higher, so he has a little bit of a leeway. But yeah, man. Let me ask you this: Would you go with a Logan Woodside? Would you try him out next? Because personally, I would.
I don't see the downside in it.
Yeah, no.
You can't get over 100 yards from Malik Willis.
Who's going to show up at the game? Who's going to show up at the game? You can be the best player in practice. You want to know why Taylor Heineke is out there at 5'10"? Because when it comes to game time, he's like, I'm going to play super hard and be locked in.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to play scared. And they can't keep him off the field. I'm tired of people timidly going out there. Tom Brady was talking to Peyton Manning, like, when they were doing their match. He was like, then they were having a little conversation for the promo. He's like, yeah, I tell everybody, 1st through 7th round, you get out there and you get your chance. Don't mess it up. Live in that moment. But some people just can't get out of their own head. They're like, oh.
What a big moment. The lights are hot. Which is hard. Look.
Turn your brain off.
It's hard. It's hard for people. That's the real side of it.
Not me. Built different in the brain.
Yeah.
I can turn that straight off.
It's actually never on. You want to know my secret? You want to know how I keep my cool?
And frankly, that's what a lot of people in the National Football League do. Do they use outside substances to turn their brain off? Possibly. We'll talk about that some other day when you see me outside of the station.
Yeah. But I do think for the Titans, why not try Logan Woodside? What's the worst thing that could happen?
I mean, and let it be his do or die moment also. Are you going to carry this guy on the practice squad for 7 years, or are we just going to let him just collect checks like, hey, you want to play? You want to be the backup? Go beat out Malik Willis in this game right now. Here's your opportunity. If it doesn't work out, you don't get free passes in the National Football League, so figure it out. Not
practicing day. Here's a good list for everybody to keep on track, and there's a real consistency with this list. Jeffrey Simmons, Amani Hooker, Bud Dupree, David Long Jr., Tahir Tart, and Zach Cunningham, because that defense shouldn't be practicing right now. They shouldn't be. It's the same reason why Derrick Henry shouldn't have been practicing last week and wasn't practicing last week. It's because these guys are going to be asked to do a ton for the team.
It's a brutal game. I mean, it feels like you get hit. When I played in college, and heck, even in the USFL, it feels like you get hit by a train. The NFL is the USFL and SEC 2X'd. It's twice as physical, twice as demanding. I was watching clips of Zach Cunningham take on these blockers, and I was like, Jesus, man, every hit was just so – it was the hardest hit probably in around the world at that time. There were no humans colliding as hard as these two men at that moment on that day in the entire planet. It's just too physical. Sometimes you can't practice, so it is what it is. And if you can go out there and play like that all the time, you don't need to practice.
Especially somebody like Zach Cunningham, who is
Derrick
Henry. He's not like a physically, like how you would look at like Ray Lewis at linebacker.
No, he doesn't have the look. But I'll tell you what, he hits super hard. It hurts. And I'm sure it hurts him too.
Yeah, it probably does. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to have Aria Gerson join us, talk all things Vandy on the Cure hotline. If you want to get in later on the show, we want to talk to you. 615-844-5600. Back after this here on the Afternoon Stretch.
Good afternoon. Still heavy traffic headed out towards Murfreesboro on 24. That's been in pretty good shape so far through Rutherford County. Now they're cleaning up a wreck over here on 24 eastbound near Harding Place, just adding to that slowdown on 24 east as soon as you come past 440. Hey, Ripley's Aquarium in the Smokies is hiring. Check them out online at ripleys.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Nashville's first curling venue is here at T-Line Nashville. Come check out T-Line Nashville and experience the world's fastest growing winter sport today. Curling is a fun and simple sport that's a perfect outing for friends, corporate events, families, or parties. T-Line also has classic bowling and modern bowling mini games. With over 20 HD TVs, you can come watch your favorite teams and some of the best food and drinks here in Nashville in the large bar and grill area. They also have an outdoor area with a fire pit, and you can't forget the live music. T-Line Nashville is a one-stop shop for a great night out. Located at 106 Duluth Avenue and online at tlinenash.com. You can book your party now or give them a call at 615-439-1024. That's 615-439-1024. And make sure you give them a follow on Instagram and Facebook at T-Line Nash for all the news, events, and updates. T-Line Nashville. Nashville's first curling venue is here.
Tired of the same old company holiday party and looking to reward your team with a fun night out? What about something different for a birthday party or group gathering? Hello, this is Philip Cox of Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers, and we specialize in group events no matter the size at our Tusculum, Donaldson, Hermitage, Murfreesboro, and Hendersonville locations. Plus, Hendersonville and Murfreesboro offer enhanced entertainment options with bumper cars, laser tag, roller skating, and more. 'Tis the season to have fun with family, friends, and business associates, and there's no better place to do it than at Strike and Spare Family Fun Center. Visit strikeandspare.com to learn about the group outing option. Strike and Spare, where fun is bowling.
Hey Nashville, Ray here from Run With It. Let me tell you about our sponsor, Boom Boss Craft Pizza and Tap House. And with 4 locations in Bellevue, Murfreesboro, Spring Hill, and East Nashville, they're your home for the best gourmet pizza and craft beers in Music City. Join me on Monday nights at the East Nashville location for poker night. And if you think you know everything, try Wednesday night trivia at both locations. Gourmet pizzas, craft beers, online at BoomBozz.com. Boom Boss Craft Pizza and Tap House.
Your exclusive National Sports Radio WNSR Skyscan forecast. This afternoon we'll have sunny skies with a high of 76. It'll be mainly clear tonight, low 48. Thursday, mostly sunny, high 74. Stray shower to start Veterans Day, then sunny. Utilizing the resources of the Weatherbug Network on National Sports Radio, I'm WNSR's meteorologist, Jim Rinaldi.
Sports Radio, WNSR.
Follow the afternoon stretch on Twitter at Bruno Reagan and Zachariah W. Really, man? You want that? I'm not spelling that out.
The afternoon stretch. Bruno Reagan, Devlin McKenzie, Zach Williams here inside the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studios. Going to the Cure Hotline, and always a fun time to talk with our weekly chats. Aria Gerson, Vanderbilt beat writer with the Tennessean. You can follow her on Twitter. She is also verified like myself at Aria_Gerson. Aria, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Do you think differently of me for getting Twitter blue and being verified now?
Be honest.
Well, I mean, I personally would not pay for Twitter blue, but it's your money, not mine.
That's a great take on that, Aria. I like that. That was good. Let's talk Vanderbilt now. I want to lead off this because we'll get into the X's and O's, but the big story that has come out is obviously Dan Jackson, DB coach for Vandy football. That whole narrative, people, if you don't know what's going on with this, he put up a Facebook post that was. What's the best way to explain that, Aria? I'm going to let you kind of decipher that because I think you could probably put it in a much more eloquent term than I can.
Yeah, basically he posted a comment on Facebook saying that Kanye West was 2 steps ahead of everyone else. And Kanye West has obviously generated a lot of controversy lately for espousing conspiracy theories against Jewish people. So that was heavily criticized by, groups that are trying to, end anti-Semitism. That's the basic gist of his criticism. And then he did coach in the game on Saturday, but he's now stepping away while the school does a review of the incident.
What were your thoughts when you saw him coaching? Because I know there's a lot of people that we've had people that called the show, obviously asking about it, wondering why, is this a story? Is this something that's maybe being overblown? Something that think it's being under talked about? Things like that. We've had kind of all sides of the circle here that have talked about this. What were your thoughts on that? We saw him on the sideline.
It was definitely a weird look, I think, considering how a lot of players have been suspended throughout Clarkley's tenure or even kicked off the team, and how quickly that seemed to happen. I don't intimately know every single detail of the university's process on, these sorts of incidents. They usually have, if there's an employee, there's usually a different process that they have to go to versus it being a player. So I don't know everything about that process, but it definitely was a very strange look to me to see him coaching, considering what Clark Lee has said and done when it comes to players who have, made mistakes throughout the time he's been here.
Talking with Aria Gerson, covers Vanderbilt for the Tennessean. You can follow her on Twitter at Aria_Gerson. Bruno, what do you got for Aria?
Aria, they came on, they announced the Ingram Center for Student Athlete Success, and they have this whole hype video for it. I just want to know if you have any insight on what the center would actually do, or if they've gave it a press release or talked about it. What's their goal, their purpose? Because this could mean anything,
Yeah, I mean, there was a press release for it. I think this is something that a lot of schools have. I think Michigan had a similarly named, Student Athlete Success Center or something of the like. It's really just kind of like providing support for, academics and for, NIL-related stuff. It didn't sound like it was, an NIL collective, but more like, if they need help reviewing NIL deals or things like that, financial literacy training, personal branding training, academic help, and things like that. So it's sort of just, I guess, like resources to support athletes. And I think it's something that, a lot of schools have, but it's probably not something that, fans are going to really see from the outside what the impact of it is, but I'm sure that it will be a positive for the athletes themselves.
All right, I wanted to switch gears and ask you a little bit about basketball. One thing that some people were questioning was Jerry Stackhouse. They go to, I believe, the NIT quarterfinals last year. I think they were on the backs of Scottie Pippen Jr., son of legend Scottie Pippen. He goes to the NBA draft. They lose him. They come out. They play Memphis. But in the offseason or right before the season, Jerry Stackhouse gets signed for an extension. And it's, I just wanted to know your thoughts on that. Is it a little bit early to start extending Jerry, or is it because it hasn't been, like he's broken the ceiling at Vanderbilt or anything, or even lived up to past year's hype. But I just want to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I've said before that I think the hard part about judging the Jerry Stackhouse extension is that we don't know what the terms of it actually are. So, like, there's a couple different kinds of extensions. If it's just like we're extending this deal for a couple years so that teams can't recruit against him by saying he only has so and so many years left on his deal, like, that doesn't really move the needle for me. If it's like we're giving him a Jimbo Fisher contract that's fully guaranteed and like it's impossible to fire him, that's a completely different situation, and we don't know which one of those it is. So it's hard for me to have a specific opinion on the extension, but I do think that announcing it when they did was probably a sign that they were feeling a little more, optimistic about how the season would go, because I think that they probably wouldn't have done it at that point if not. But yeah, it's hard for me to have like a real opinion on it without knowing what the terms of it are.
Speaking with Aria Gerson. Sorry, Bruno, go ahead.
No, you're good. I'm going to just start, absolutely pounding the questions on.
No, you got plenty of them.
Yeah. Well, I'm starting to become, we're at that point of the season for Vanderbilt football where, listen, I have had a knife in my heart. I'm horribly heartbroken. It affects me waking up every day. The Vandy Nation on Twitter, I get it. But I look at Vanderbilt and I look at the stats and the box scores. And I know you're a big analytic person, but you look at the Kentucky matchup, Vanderbilt averages more offensive yards than Kentucky, and they have the next Josh Allen at quarterback, allegedly, right? I just want to know, through the course of this season, what has it been? Can we just point and say, oh, it's the defense, they suck, they need to get better, or is it, how does Vanderbilt end up at this point? Because I sincerely think they should have won at least one or two SEC games.
I think the problem is, honestly, I think it's been kind of a different thing in every game. The more winnable games are Missouri and South Carolina, and those were two completely different games. The issue with Missouri was just the offense couldn't do anything at all, and they couldn't execute anything. And, during South Carolina, the offense was actually doing pretty well, and the run game was working way better than it had against Missouri. But too many turnovers, for one, and for two, Vanderbilt, it wasn't even... the defense wasn't great in that game, but it wasn't just the defense. It was these trick plays. It was South Carolina kept running trick plays that would go for chunk yardage. And that is like, they couldn't stop trick plays is sort of like I don't even know what that, how you extrapolate that to further games, because South Carolina has one of the best special teams in the country, if not the best. So I don't know if other teams would be able to replicate that particular success with the trick plays, but also just, A.J. Swan getting hurt in both those games. And, regardless of, he wasn't playing super well against Missouri particularly, but when you have to switch quarterbacks in the middle of the game, that's not going to help. So I think it's just been a combination of a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm. Talking with Aria Gerson. You can follow her on Twitter at Aria_Gerson. So talking about the health of Vanderbilt football, what is the health of Vanderbilt football looking forward to Kentucky this week?
Yeah, it's not great going into Kentucky. A.J. Swan is out for this week, so Mike Wright is going to start. Bradley Ashmore is out for the season. He had surgery, and Xavier Castillo is also out, so that leaves the offensive line in kind of a precarious position. And there's also Davion Davis has been able to return to practice a little bit. It's unclear if he's going to be able to play this week. So there's some key contributors at key positions who are not healthy right now. And there's been a little bit of like the flu going around, which is not only true of Vanderbilt. There's several teams that have seen that happen. But I'm not sure, the flu, it's hard to say like what that means on Wednesday for the game on Saturday. We don't know who might be sick or who might be better that was, sick earlier. But the health is not in a great spot right now.
Going into that game then against Kentucky, 24th in whatever poll that you might pay attention to out there, but on the road, the last 2 weeks there's been a lot of optimism, I would say, whether it be blind optimism or whatever you want to term that as, but there was optimism that the Commodores were going to get a possibility of their first SEC win this season of the last 3 seasons. Is there any shot or any feeling in your mind that could still possibly happen against Kentucky this week?
I would lean towards that not happening, and I actually think that it's going to sound crazy, but I think that Vanderbilt actually has a better chance of beating Florida than they do of beating Kentucky. And it's because of the specific strengths and weaknesses of each of those two teams. But I mean, Kentucky hasn't been that good this year. They're probably going to go 7-5 or 8-4, but I just don't think that is necessarily the best matchup for Vanderbilt, particularly considering that they are not very healthy right now and have had a ton of injuries.
Talking with Aria Gerson. Follow her on Twitter at Aria_Gerson.
Aria, I'm ready to throw this season personally in the trash, unless they can beat Florida. Then I'll be very elated. But we look forward to next season. I don't know if you've seen the schedule, really. It seems a lot more favorable to Vanderbilt. They obviously play against an Auburn team who has been unraveled by Brian Harsin. Yeah, Brian Harsin torched that place to the ground, so there's that chance there. I just want to know expectations that you have for the team next season, whether it's, finding the single quarterback or certain positions or just the overall team record.
I definitely think the schedule is more favorable, at least from my first look at it when it was released. That being said, I think it's very hard to set expectations now because, first of all, the transfer portal is such that, like, Auburn could hire a new coach and that new coach could decide to, bring in every, top player in the portal and just overhaul their entire roster, basically. So we don't know what any of these rosters are going to look like. On the other hand, it's possible that some SEC team kind of undergoes a roster collapse in the off season where players, are all leaving via the portal, and we don't know which Vanderbilt players might leave via the portal. I don't think that people have necessarily made that decision yet, but it definitely seemed, just in terms of the crossover opponents, obviously not having to play Alabama and getting them replaced with Auburn, I think is a good thing regardless of what Auburn does in the offseason. I think that's, an easier matchup, and I think that maybe some of the SEC East teams, like the SEC East is actually not that good this year beyond Georgia and Tennessee. The rest of the teams are kind of like, they're going to go 7-5, the rest of them. So if they continue being, not necessarily taking a step forward next year, all those teams, it's possible that there could be a couple SEC wins in there.
Talking with Aria Gerson, Vanderbilt beat writer for the Tennessean. You talked about the transfer portal. Do you have, just on your side, I mean, obviously I'm not saying do you know anything or anything like that, but is there any couple names that you would say might be in risk of possibly going into that if you had to make a judgment call? And is one of those possibly A.J. Swan?
I don't want to speculate on who might enter the portal. I do think that considering the number of quarterbacks that they have on their roster, which I think right now they have 5 quarterbacks on the roster, probably some of those I would guess would leave just by virtue of it's very hard to keep that many quarterbacks in your program year after year because people will go for more playing time, but I don't want to say which ones might enter the portal because I don't think that's fair to them if they haven't made that decision yet.
I think it's fair. I think it's fair, but it's just I think there's a lot of just the vibe of Vanderbilt. I would say there's probably a lot of worry that they are going to lose somebody like A.J. Swan because he is so up and coming and promising and still has so much future that it just feels like the Vandy fan base might be a little scared about that one name.
I think that he is probably, I would not put him as the highest transfer risk at all, honestly, just because usually when quarterbacks transfer, it's because they're not playing at their current school and they want to get more playing time. They want to go start somewhere, whether that's another Power 5 school, Group of 5, or FCS, and a lot of the more common instances of star quarterbacks transferring was mostly when their teams had a coaching change, like Caleb Williams following Lincoln Riley to USC and things like that. So that would not, I would be a little bit surprised if that happened personally. But, when it comes to the fact that they have 5 scholarship quarterbacks right now, I just think that probably not all of them are going to stick around just because some of them will decide that they want to go elsewhere. Just like what happened with Jeremy Musso last year. He transferred to Florida A&M so that he could be their starting quarterback.
This question's not for professional Aria. This is for, I guess you could say, unprofessional Aria. How good did it feel to see Michigan in the top 4?
I mean, it's great, but it all comes down to Ohio State, as it always does, because I think not only is that going to be for who goes to the playoffs, but it might decide who wins the Heisman too.
I can't wait for our next call that week after that for Devlin, the OSU fan, calling you. Somebody's gonna be upset at somebody, and that's just gonna breed radio drama, which is what we need, Aria. Aria Gerson has been our guest. Thank you so much, Aria, for jumping on with us. You can follow her on Twitter at Aria_Gerson. We have her on every Wednesday here in the second segment of the first hour. Thank you so much, Aria.
Thank you.
Aria Gerson, great stuff there from her. Once again, follow her on Twitter at Aria_Gerson, Vanderbilt beat writer for the Tennessee, and does a great job, has a lot of great insight into the team, does a great job there. We need to run to a break. If you want to jump in, Cure Hotline, 615-844-5600. If you want to get in, maybe you got some Vandy questions that you want to ask. Bruno Reagan sitting right here. He's got plenty of answers to give you on your questions. Jump in now on the afternoon stretch.
Good afternoon. Traffic's picked up even more with that traffic volume over here on 40 East up by Fessler's. It's looking decent right now on 24 out past Bell Road as you continue out towards Murfreesboro, Rutherford County. It's been pretty eventful out through there. It seemed like all day. 5,000 block of Hickory Hollow Lane in Antioch. They're still on the scene of that crash. Had a couple of wrecks earlier. Briley Parkway near Murfreesboro Pike that was still being mopped up. Busy over in, Wilson County through Mount Juliet right now. Lots of radar out through there a little bit earlier. Nash Painting services all of Middle Tennessee.
Are you in trouble with the IRS? Detaxify is the trusted tax relief solution that has an A+ rating with the BBB, 5-star rating from Google, and specializes in the IRS Fresh Start program.
If you have years of unfiled back tax returns or owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, the government has the power to garnish your wages, freeze your bank account, and in some cases, they can now revoke your passport. This is John Zandy, president of Detaxify. Detaxify specializes in the Fresh Start program where we help struggling taxpayers get out of collections or settle their tax debt. If you're being audited or dealing with threatening letters from the government, you may need professional tax relief representation. My team at Detaxify can stop the tax collectors and stop the threatening letters from the IRS or state. Call me now for a free consultation.
Call now, 800-601-7780. That's 800-601-7780. Detaxify offers a 100% customer satisfaction guarantee. Call now, 800-601-7780. 800-601-7780.
Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
It's a Bill King Show.
In Little League football, they play it off. You can't do it in college football, Bill. You got to come up with a bunch of computers and some BCS cockamamie scheme. My answer was yes. It's unique. Absolutely love it. I go into my garage every day and make sure there are no dust particles on those BCS computers. I do that.
Weekday mornings beginning at 6 on Sports Radio 560 on 95.9 FM.
A show called The Afternoon Stretch is a stretch. Calling it a show. The Afternoon Stretch.
The Afternoon Stretch. Thanks to Aria Gerson jumping on with us. No longer on with us. Might look at the video and be slightly confused by that, but it's all good. Bruno Reagan, Devlin McKenzie, Zach Williams here inside the Strike Bear Family Fun Center studio. Subtle hints, right, Devlin? It's a live radio show. Things happen in live radio shows. That's just the real side of it.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta be a good boxer. You know, you gotta roll with the punches. Find your openings. Work the middle.
You work and you roll. I knock people out. So let's get that straight.
Oh man. I'm really trying to think of an obese joke to go with what you just said. I couldn't think of one quick enough though.
Hey, friendly fire.
I know, true, but that's what we do on this show. We're allowed to.
Allegedly.
We'll
just wait until they come for us, fat shit.
They better not take my verification. That's all I know. If you want to jump in, Cure Hotline 615-844-5600. Let's go to it now. Tony in Nolansville. Tony, how you doing, buddy?
Doing great, guys. Good interview with Ariel. That was some
Aria.
good stuff, but
Aria.
Whatever her damn name is from Michigan, she wrote an article today that I didn't like the way she wrote it. She said Vanderbilt continued their 14-game losing streak over South Carolina. Well, number one, they're not over South Carolina. They've been under them, and a continuing 14 losing streak. You can only lose it one time. So, anyway.
Well, Tony, if you don't like that article, I tell you to go and talk to Vanderbilt and tell them to win one.
I agree.
Hey, wait a minute. My point's well made. You're right about that. And let me say this. I applaud you for having the courage and the dignity and the bravery to ask the question, did she think Vanderbilt could go win a game out of these next three? That's not going to happen. Y'all know it. I know it. Bruno sitting there who played for him knows it. I've watched them for 50-something years. I've always tested this stuff. They're going to go another over in the SEC. It's obvious. And
it's unfortunate, but yeah, it is pretty obvious.
I'm losing my hair, and I'm 26, so whatever.
Do what, Bruno?
I said I'm losing my hair, and I'm 26, so yeah, whatever. Also, it's awesome because I try to find other alumni to vent to, and no one cares. I'm like the only alumni I think that even really cares. So.
And you try to find positives, and every time you find something positive to hold on to, they do something else that just kills your energy, and it is what it is. So, but guys, I'm going to throw these scenarios out there. Tennessee sitting there at number 5 right now in the CFP. You get them playing like they do. Say they struggle against South Carolina and pull a win out, but struggle. You're going to have one of the Michigan or Ohio State eliminated. TCU might run the table. Everybody's saying doubtful, but let's say they get beat. But then in the background, you got LSU. What if they lose to Arkansas? If they lose to Arkansas, it weakens the win Tennessee has over them. What if Ole Miss goes on and knocks off Alabama? That weakens that win over Alabama that much more. Then when the final polls come out, and what if Ole Miss wins out? What if they win out? And you got a weakened UT sitting there, and you've got a Michigan or Ohio State, whichever the winner is, and a Georgia. Who are you going to take? And you've got Oregon. Let's keep Oregon in there. That's going to run. Say they run the table, and this is a lot of ifs. I know it is. Say they run the table. They're a conference champion. They play the Pac-10 and win it. So you're going to have an Oregon, a Michigan or Ohio State, and a Georgia. Does Ole Miss get past Tennessee and get in there or not?
No, probably not, because Michigan, Ohio State would both get in, being one loss, and Georgia would get in, and then the SEC champion would get in.
Yeah.
So it'd be 2 Big Ten, 2 SEC if those losses played out the way they did.
Hey, Tony, I appreciate the call, my man. We got to move on to some other callers. If you want to jump in, 615-844-5600. Let's go to Jim in Nashville. Jim, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, guys. How are y'all? Hey, I really like the show. Just a couple of quick Vanderbilt questions. Is Ken Seals still on the roster? And then y'all were talking about the schedule for next year. Doesn't Vanderbilt have to win 2 or 3? Clark Lee surely is not going to keep his job if he goes 3 years and doesn't win an SEC game. And last comment for Tony that just called in: why just let go of the hate, man? Quit hating on UT. We're all Tennesseans. It's going to be okay. Y'all have a good day.
I appreciate it, Jim.
So, yes, Ken Seals is on the roster as a third stringer right now. I think he's just going to ride out his career at Vanderbilt. Hey, listen, this is the thing I came down to when I got benched before camp my Richards sophomore year. I thought about transferring, but I was just like, I'm at a school I really don't deserve to be at, and I'm just going to ride out my career here and try and take advantage of the other things. And then I won my job back and didn't care about school, but the message was still there. So maybe Ken Seals is on that. I was on that path.
You didn't go there to play school.
Yeah, I didn't.
As Cardell Jones would say.
I really didn't. And Vanderbilt's a tough place to do that at. But I graduated. There's academic probation right here, and I stayed an inch above that line my entire career. So,
hey, what do they call the last doctor to graduate, or the last medical student to graduate medical school?
Doctor.
I ruined the joke right off the bit.
So my first question is that, or my first answer is that, yes, Ken Seals on the roster. Second answer, yeah, I think Clark Lee, if he doesn't win an SEC game next year, deserves extreme criticism and extreme questioning of his job. Now, I like Clark Lee. I'm a believer in Clark Lee. But there, what leeway do you get? Do we have to wait 4 or 5 years before you win an SEC game? And it's just because I love Derek Mason to my core. And the way the program ended up, it was unacceptable. So I had to come on these airwaves. If I had any integrity, I had to be honest with my viewership. And it wasn't getting it done. And coaches know that. Deep down they know that. So they probably don't take it too personal. So, yeah, if Clark Lee goes next year with the schedule he has next year and doesn't win a game, that's going to be...
He's not outright gone, though.
Probably not.
I think that'd be unfair. I think questioning is a good word, but...
Unfair?
I think it would be unfair. Yeah.
3 years without an SEC win as a head coach?
You're taking over a team that didn't have a win. I mean, that's the real side of it. That's the real side of it. They didn't have a win the year before that he took over. It was a mess. You know that. Everybody knows that. The things that happened that year, the 0 for a year, is well documented. It was a mess. Vanderbilt football was a mess. Clark Lee took over a monster. Now, if we go year 4 and can't get a win, now we talk that. That's fair to me. But where it's at right now, he's still slowly building. And I think next year he does get a win. I do think so. But if it doesn't happen, I think it's time to talk about it, but it's not time to act. I think that would be very premature.
We fundamentally very much disagree on that because imagine a kid's career and you're selling it to them. You're like, yeah, look at the last 4 years. You know, what you want to see is growth. You come in, you start at this X point, and then you grow, and then you get to this X point. If you're telling recruits, like, yeah, the past 4 years we haven't won a game, and the recruit's like, okay, my goal from the next 4 years of my career is to win a single SEC game. That is, you're not going to get anybody worth anything for that. No, you don't win an SEC game in 3 years. If you don't win an SEC game next year, especially with that schedule, you're done.
Well, that's, I think, part of the reason why he brought in Barton Simmons for that general manager role, is to be able to help negotiate those conversations because they are going to be ugly. No matter what, it's going to be ugly. I mean, it's ugly right now to recruit, and I believe they just pulled in a number 10 recruit class is what I saw. They have problems already. It's not like right now it's just dandy to try to recruit for Vanderbilt. I just think that 3 years, if it was 3 years at Alabama or 3 years at, I'm trying to think of just other schools that are, 3 years at OSU and it just still isn't happening. Yeah, sure. Those are programs that are solidified. They're good already. They're in great standing. But Vanderbilt wasn't. That's the real side of this. Vanderbilt wasn't and still is just now climbing out of the ooze of where they were.
I don't care. I've already said this on these airwaves. I wasn't that great of a football player. I came in as a trash football player. I left as an okay one, and we were able to win multiple games. If you can't win a single game in the SEC, you're trash.
No, I agree. I agree with that. But I just think that I don't think we're going to have to worry about that conversation next year. I really don't. I think next year one win's going to happen. They're going to win their non-conference games, and they're going to get one SEC win, and it's just another click up where Clark Lee's taking them. I really do. I really believe that's going to happen. We got to run to a break. If you want to jump in, Cure Hotline, 615-844-5600.
We're looking at a crash over here on 40 westbound at Jefferson Street. They're trying to move the damaged vehicles right now. Again, it's been pretty busy over here because of that wreck. 40 westbound at Jefferson Street, already heavy on the south loop, the west loop as well. 65 starting to slow down through Williamson County, down in Spring Hill there on 65 south. Moving I-40 out through Dixon County. Just watch your speed. Same thing for I-40 out through Wilson County. Hey, Nash Painting Services, all Middle Tennessee. Check out their website at nashpainting.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
The 2022 NASCAR Truck Series season came down to one race at Phoenix Raceway, and these four drivers battling it out for the series championship. Ty Majeski, Ben Rhodes, Chandler Smith, and Zane Smith, who took home the checkered flag and was crowned champion.
Yeah, I knew our night had gone too smooth at times, and we struggled bad on pit road, and I went from dominating the race, being the first seed, to with restarting 11th with 11 to go as the fourth seed. I wasn't going to, if Bob Jenkins was going to get a wreck truck or a championship trophy at the end of the day, so I was not going to lose another one. I just, it scarred me too bad. And probably the craziest finish I've ever been a part of, and obviously the biggest win I've ever had, but just so proud of everyone. We were adoring each other, and we were nose to nose, and both of us obviously weren't going to lift. And I mean, I have said it in a few other interviews, but I just want to give a shout out to the other three. We had every opportunity to wreck each other, and we battled hard, hit each other, but didn't wreck each other.
Keep it here for the final lap during the offseason for all the latest NASCAR news as we look to 2023 and the season opening races at the Coliseum in downtown Los Angeles and the Daytona 500.
For all your printing needs this holiday, Staples has you covered.
I need custom printed holiday cards for my one-of-a-kind business.
Staples has you covered.
It's beginning to look a lot like I need custom party invites. Fast.
I need cards for everyone who gave me a hand this year without spending an arm and a leg.
Staples has you covered with personalized holiday cards and invites. And now save 40% on custom holiday cards and invitations. For everything you need printed, go to Staples, the working and learning store. In-store and online, ends 12/17. Exclusions and restrictions apply.
Research shows listeners prefer a personalized experience. So to help you remember, Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance. We personalized this ad for Amber, who really misses boy bands from the 90s.
Hey girl, I'm the cute one, here to tell you how Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
I'm the heartthrob. The only thing I love more than you is saving. And I'm the other boy in the band everyone forgot about.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
From the big game to the big dance, Bar Lines at the Omni Nashville Hotel downtown is your game day and watch party headquarters. Don't worry about entertaining guests and trying to feed everyone. Sit back, relax, cheer on your team, and let the Bar Lines staff take care of you. Grab a Bar Lines signature cocktail and enjoy some wicked deviled eggs or a Bar Lines double stack and finish it off with some Jack and Coke chocolate cake. Bust your belly and your bracket at Bar Lines, located in the Omni Nashville Hotel, 5th Avenue, downtown. The show that makes the average person say, hey, I can do that. The Afternoon Stretch.
Later on tonight here on the afternoon, or Nashville Sports Radio, after the Afternoon Stretch, 6:30, got Grizzlies Spurs happening on this very station. Going to hear John Morant and crew. Eric Hasseltine on the call. Good friend of the show, Eric Hasseltine.
Absolutely.
Fits in with us well.
Yeah, for being an old dude, yeah.
Yeah. What did he say? He was 50?
Mhm.
Yeah, he fits in great. He fits in real good.
He's been doing that job since before I was alive, I think.
Roughly, yeah. He's right on it. I think he's 25 years, so yeah.
I can't wait till I'm 50 just to look back on everything that's happened.
You look at new judo people, and you're like, wow, I've been doing this for 50 years.
Yeah. Who knows what it'll look like then? Judo's really cringy, but I'm changing it.
Yeah, you're fixing it one day at a time. If you want to get involved, we have a whole second hour coming back. We're going to get into some of Clark Lee's presser from earlier today, hear what's going on over there, and then also we're going to take a look back in sports history on Today in Sports History. We're also going to have some Bruno's bets going on. A lot of fun stuff. If you want to get involved, 615-844-5600 till 6 o'clock. First hour's done. Got a whole second hour coming up.
On air and online, Sports Radio WNSR, Brentwood, Nashville.
ABC News, I'm Andy Field. A day after the midterm elections, results still coming in. Despite voter upset over the economy, President Biden says Democrats outperformed expectations, showed other issues, including abortion access, also drove turnout.
I especially want to thank the young people of this nation, who I'm told, I haven't seen the numbers, voted historic numbers again, and just as they did 2 years ago.
Key races in the Senate still up for grabs, the House still in play, but Republican Kevin McCarthy predicts he will become the new majority leader.
In a new letter to members of Congress, House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy acknowledged a small number of races are still outstanding. Then he says he can confidently report that Republicans will take back the House. McCarthy announced he's running for House Speaker and is humbly asking for members' support. Elizabeth Schulze, ABC News, Washington.
Tropical storm Nicole expected to strengthen to a hurricane before it makes landfall overnight on Florida's east coast. This is ABC News.
You'd never knowingly feed your pup mystery meat or spoiled grocery store food, so why are those some of the most common protein sources in kibble today? Yep, the dog food ingredient meat meal can be made of spoiled supermarket meat and packing plant scraps.
I'm veterinarian Dr. Marty Goldstein. Your dog needs a biologically appropriate diet similar to what they would eat in the wild. That's why I developed Nature's Blend, a freeze-dried raw food made with premium cuts of meat, omega-3 rich seeds, and superfood veggies and fruit.
Bailey is 12 years old. He has been on your food for 9 bags now.
Nature's Blend is pantry safe and has 0 artificial preservatives, additives, filler, or meat meal.
He's got more energy, able to run around and play when our grandson comes.
For a limited time, save 54% off Nature's Blend and receive a free pack of premium dog treats. Go to drmartypets.com/Marty or text Marty to 511-511.
I can't thank you enough. He's 12 and I'm enjoying every day with him.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 1 additional text. Text stop to
Get a taste of the tropics without ever leaving Nashville at Hawaiian Izakaya. The Heart, voted to have the best creative cocktails in Music City. Located inside Bento Living Chestnut Hill, The Heart is open for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and drinks Tuesday through Sunday. Plus brunch on the weekends. Expect fresh, locally sourced shareable plates, hoke, yakitori, handcrafted cocktails, and aloha vibe. Visit theheartnashville.com to view the menu and make a reservation today.
NFL Plus is here, which means no matter where you are, this is how you football. You can stream live, local, and primetime regular season games on your phone or tablet, 45-minute game replays, and more. That's how you do it right there. This is the NFL for every fan. This is football freedom. This is your game on the go. Wherever you are, this is how you football. Go to plus.nfl.com/radio and start your free trial of NFL Plus today. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, it's Sammy Kincaid, host of Power Hour with Sammy Kincaid. Every Saturday morning from 9 to 10, listen in as I highlight women in sports from high school to the pros, athletes and administrators. And you know what? Let's talk some ball with women covering the game across the country. Power Hour with Sammy Kincaid is every Saturday morning. Listen in on Nashville Sports Radio from 9 to 10 a.m.
Okay, it's happening. It's the afternoon stretch with Zach Williams and Bruno Reagan. Everybody stay calm. Stay calm.
Let's take some calls from the public, shall we?
Join the afternoon stretch now on the Cure Hotline, 615-844-5600. Now here's Bruno and Zach.
Second hour of the afternoon stretch here on Nashville Sports Radio. Bruno Reagan, Devlin McKenzie, Zach Williams here inside the Strike and Spare Family Fun Center studio. If you want to get involved, we want to hear from you. The Cure Hotline, 615-844-5600. That is the number to get in if you want. We want to talk to you. Wide open today till 6 o'clock. Once again, Memphis Grizzlies taking on the Spurs. 6:30 broadcast time, 7 o'clock tip-off here on this very station. You'll be able to hear it on Nashville Sports Radio. First hour flew by, Bruno.
Absolutely, which is what it usually does. But now we're in what I like to call the black hole, the dark age, the heart of the second hour. I mean, it is an absolute grind. I don't know what it is. Part of the mind, the chemicals, the hormones. When I see that nighttime, I just go rest. Time to sleep.
When are you going to adapt, do you think? When is your body going to start adapting to it?
No, that's a very fair and great question. Who knows? There's something you just got to grind through, and by the time you adapt, you're in the spring. So,
and then we'll never have this again. Yeah, there's something about it. Devlin, are you one of those guys you see darkness? I feel like you're a night owl. You're young.
It really doesn't make a difference for me.
Yeah.
I just be out here doing it.
Yeah.
Yep.
You see darkness, you're like, I want to go to Broadway.
Yep.
That's what you want to do.
Yep.
Are you a hot dog guy on Broadway?
For $11? No, I'm not.
You just stay. You just stay hungry out there. That's what you do.
I'd rather just go home, grab a mess of Taco Bell and DoorDash. And, yeah.
Not a sponsor of the show.
No, no free shout-outs.
No.
I was eating my own food in my kitchen.
Yeah, exactly. You were having Slim Chickens.
I make myself. Yes.
I had Slim Chickens last night for dinner. Huh. I'm telling you, if you haven't, this is not the advertisement. I got that, and they do the shaken flavor. Like, you can get the tenders with the shaken sauce on it. I did the honey barbecue, got the cayenne ranch with it. My mouth's watering immediately right now. I'm starving today. I am so hungry. I may not look like it. I might look like it a little bit because I'm wearing all black, but a little slimming.
You look hungry, all right.
I'm hungry. I'm hungry right now.
Aren't you always?
Aren't you?
Yes.
Friendly fire once again.
No, I'm so full disclosure, I don't mind talking about myself before we get into Clark Lee, but I'm pretty proud of where I'm trending.
I love the idea
now.
Clark Lee's on hold right now.
I know.
And you're just like, we'll get to Clark Lee in a second.
But I have to talk about it because adapting after football is tough because I work out so rigorously those 5, 6, 7 years, and then I get out and I'm still eating like I'm working out like that, and then I'm not. I get up to 375 again, and I'm like, this is why my back hurts. This is why probably my knee got injured, all that good stuff. So I'm finally trending down, and I would usually go no carbs, no sugar, very strict diet, and I would always get back down to 25 and look and feel good, but it's never sustainable. I've been doing sustainable calorie counting on every single thing I do, just trying to hit macros, and I'm at the 50s right now from 75, and that's only after like a month and some change. So, and I'm not skipping or anything. Like, you'll see me still go to McDonald's, but I just get the nuggets, not the fries. It's the little things. So I am happy with the little things that are going on. So hopefully I can get down and stay down.
Yeah, because you're competing this Saturday too.
Yeah.
You're going to wrestle another person that's your size.
No, they're not my size. They're way smaller.
Really?
No one is my size, Zach. You'll know that when you see.
It's not like a weight class?
Yeah, it's everyone above 220 pounds.
Oh, wow.
Ultra heavyweight's not for the faint of heart.
No,
it's
so
not.
Do you know the size of this person?
They're guaranteed smaller than me.
Yeah.
100%. Which, in jiu-jitsu, through the rule set, it can be used to your advantage a bit. And the matches are 7 minutes, which is no joke. That's a long single match. So the gas tank comes into question. It'll be interesting. We'll see how it all goes out. This will be first competition off the knee, the back. So I'm excited to see where it goes. But mainly, I compete now for my students. I have no drive to compete in jiu-jitsu other than just hang out with my students. I want them to see, if I'm teaching them and expecting them to go out and compete for their ranks and their belts, I should be out there doing it too. So
yeah, true.
Fair enough.
Fair, yeah. I didn't realize that, though. I didn't realize you could be, I say wrestle just for our audience.
Yeah.
It's not wrestling. But I didn't realize you could be wrestling a 225-pound person who is quite simply 130 pounds less.
Always, and it's always something to be said because everyone gets nervous, and I'm not talking myself up. But when you look at me across from you, you have to be extra nervous because it's just there's no one you can train. As someone who actively travels to train with people my size, there's not a lot of us out there. You just don't get enough practice against it.
Yeah.
So you're really on a field test run when you step on the mat.
I always forget how big Bruno really is until I get into a car with him. I get into a car with him, like, go get whatever, we'll be in a car together. And I'm just like, how are you even in here?
Yeah.
How did you fit inside? Like, it could be my truck or my car. Bruno gets into either one of them. And just like, this is just, you're like, but in the show, you don't look like right now, like right across, like you don't look like a very big person. You just don't. But I mean, I don't know how far away we are right now, like 4 foot maybe. But get into a car, man, and you're like, so I can see how jiu-jitsu, it's a fight inside of a phone booth. Yeah, you'd be much larger than everybody else out there, probably. Yeah. That's why you just don't fight Bruno. That's what it is.
That's why I'm surprised 2 people signed up to do it. So either they're ignorant and they don't know, or they think they have a shot, which is awesome. Good. And
if they win, they get your gym.
We'll all go there and have fun. Please take it. Be a load off my shoulders.
Typically, we have Clark Lee on at this time every Wednesday. Scheduling happened today. Not going to be able to get Clark Lee on, but we're going to have the next best thing. Clark Lee had a presser from yesterday. Goes into a whole plethora of things that we actually talked about with Aria in the first segment. Devlin, let's go ahead and play that and listen. And when we get done with it, we'll talk about the presser and more about Vanderbilt.
All right. I'm going to start by providing an update on Dan Jackson's situation. As the Chancellor and Candace have noted in their statements that Dan's agreed to step away for the moment as we undergo an internal review through the Equal Opportunity and Access Office. This is a part of the university's process for addressing reports of discrimination. And they're going to conduct a thorough review to fully understand the context and provide clarity for the university's path forward. Candace and Dan agreed that it was best for him to step away right now so he can focus his full attention on on the review and hopefully resolving this matter. As far as the game goes, coming off a disappointing loss against South Carolina, where there were opportunities for us to play better. I thought we had a spirited Tuesday practice today as we set our course towards Kentucky, and I'm excited about taking this team up to Lexington and having them compete. This is a good team, Kentucky is. They have modeled the building of a program with a very similar start to what we've experienced, and Coach Stoops has done a great job through consistency and really just going through a process, building a program that's become one of the best in the league. They win consistently, they compete, they're good in all three phases, and certainly we're going to have a tough task ahead, but excited for the opportunity to compete with them. With that, I'll be happy to open up for questions.
AJ, leaving the game and not listed on the depth chart. Is he done for the season? Is he doing okay?
He'll be okay. Just not available this weekend, and so we'll keep tabs of him, and hopefully we'll be able to get him back for the Florida game. But time will tell.
Ken Seals' role? Does he have a shot to play this week?
So right now he'll serve as the number 2. He'll be getting reps in practice, and obviously, has been evidence in our past 2 games that's a critical role. Both Missouri and South Carolina, we've gone to the number 2 in critical moments because of injury. But Ken's played a lot of football for us, and I know he'll be ready and excited to do what the team needs him to do.
What have you seen on Mike the past 2 games?
Mike, well, first of all, I think he's just handled this season really well. He's been obviously he serves as a captain for a reason, and he's been consistent in his approach and not let personal disappointment bleed into his ability to be a great teammate. He's also prepared himself to be ready when his number's called, and I think in both the last 2 games he's been able to come in and make some plays and move the offense. Certainly against South Carolina, we unfortunately turned the ball over there late, but I thought he had some bright moments there, and he's a guy that's been a playmaker for us. So we're excited for him to have the opportunity to lead us on the road in the SEC.
And then just a clarification on Dan Jackson. Has he stepped away until they complete their investigation process? That's
correct, and at that point we'll have more information, but that review will dictate kind of our course forward as a program.
Who is coaching the corners right now?
Nick Howell he coached corners at Virginia, and he's coached the full secondary. Jimmy Thompson stepped into a role. Jimmy served as Coach Howell's assistant. So we have, we'll be able to move forward without any disruption that way.
If you could go back and make the decision again, would you just suspend him for the South Carolina game?
I think what we were doing is we as soon as we became aware of the situation, we started this review, and we didn't want to rush to judgment. We obviously were able to meet with Dan and get the full context of the situation, at that point in time, we felt like giving Dan due process and taking our time through it was appropriate. We understand that that has impacted members of our community and obviously created some emotions around it. But for us, it was a matter of just going through our process and making sure that we didn't that we gave Dan a chance to go through a process too.
I imagine probably there's a lot of, it's a large program, 100+ players on the team and the staff. There's probably varying opinions. Where's the locker room at right now after that?
Well, it's we spend just like ridiculous amounts of time together. So we talk a lot about football being family, and it really, in the nature of the time spent, time invested. And again, for us in our program, we're about intentional relationships. And so, the players support Dan. They understand the situation. They understand how heavy the situation is. It's not that they don't recognize that, but they also have a lot of respect for their coach and have valued the relationships. And so, obviously, they're disappointed. They're understanding. This morning at practice, it looked like a normal Tuesday. These guys are resilient. They're focused. Their ability to reset and just keep an aim on what they want to accomplish has been impressive. So we'll make it through this. They'll make it through it. But I'm not going to say that matters such as this don't have impact. I mean, there's certainly there's impact on a lot of levels.
Bradley Ashmore, did he undergo that?
He did. So he's
probably
out for the season. But again, I would be remiss not to point out just the level of toughness he showed to play an entire game, knowing that surgery was imminent, and very proud of him and happy for his full recovery.
How did that conversation go about playing the game?
Well, I mean, when he found out it was a possibility, he wanted to play. And I think, if I remember correctly, the injury occurred on Wednesday, and we knew immediately that there was a fracture that was going to need to be addressed. But he wasn't able to practice Thursday or Friday. He was there and obviously paying attention, but knew he was going to be able to play on Saturday. And once he found that out, even though he wasn't able to finish the week in practice, he was still locked in and excited to be out there. And his surgery went well, and he'll be sidelined for a while, but we'll be excited to get him back.
What does that say at this point? I mean, it's been a tough season at times. He obviously had an out not to play. How does it make you guys feel as a coaching staff when a kid chooses to play in a circumstance like that?
Yeah, I think it's a reflection of the program we're building. I think the resilience this team has showed in general has been impressive. We have to play football better, and that includes offensively not turning the ball over and capitalizing on opportunities. We had opportunities against South Carolina to convert on third downs. We had thinking of play with Quincy Skinner in space and then Jaden McGowan in space on third downs and convert that would have set up explosives. We had some shot plays. We got to capitalize on those opportunities defensively, leverage and tackling on the perimeter. We got to do that better. You had the 3rd and 1 breakout, and then the 3rd and 19 conversion that set up the score before half. Those are things where if we make the available play, we play football better. But that said, I think that the team in general has shown an incredible fight and resilience, and as a coaching staff, we're focused on helping them to play the game better and to capitalize on the opportunities. And I think this is just a part of where we are in the building of this program. But I feel really good about the heartbeat and the spirit of this group, and I'm excited for the stretch run of the season.
I know Xavier has been banged up at times. Is he? He's not on the depth chart. I assume probably not available.
Not available. Not season ending. So we're keeping tabs on that, but won't be available this weekend. And Robbie, I guess I also, because you always ask, Davian Davis practiced an individual today in shoulder pads. So that doesn't mean he's going to be ready to play, but he started that process of coming back. I know he's excited to do that.
Can that, that's obviously a very difficult injury to work through. Does that give him, that must be a boost for him, I imagine, to finally be going through something.
Yeah, it is. And he's also a guy that really, even last year, he was a captain in year one. But he is his his presence is felt on our sideline and within our team. I think it's hard for him, during practice up until this point, he would be with the strength staff and, kind of working on the side. Today just felt different with him kind of back immersed with the group. I know he enjoyed that, and I'm excited for him.
That's Clark Lee's presser from yesterday. Obviously, we usually have him here on this program live, but next best thing there with Clark Lee. A lot of questions about Dan Jackson. I mean, he's getting peppered with them.
It's about what I thought. They wanted to do their internal investigation with the school. So
I'll tell you, this is my guess. Nothing's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's talking about. He was like, the players, love him, respect him, miss him, so it is what it is. It was stupid.
It's stupid that he's getting in this much trouble for just posting of his own thoughts. You hired him,
and you can think it's stupid. I think it was absurdly stupid. He was just out there posting that stuff.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I think. That's stupid.
To people and when you attach yourself to people and they do something stupid, you're going to get flack for it. So.
There's no right answer or right side when you're getting on the idea of social groupthink of however that works. Whatever you want to talk about with cancel culture or whatever.
Well, I mean, if people are accusing someone of being an anti-Semite, don't go out there and be like, I actually think he's right. Like, just sit that one out, homie. It's not hard.
Could have been. But, it's just it's a weird situation, but I just have a feeling he's not going to have. He might have to do one of the, the Kyrie Irving, checklist. He might have to do a couple spots on that, take a couple classes or something like that, but I don't think he's going to be gone. I don't think if he was going to lose his job in today's age, you lose your job immediately. You don't lose your job a few weeks from now after an internal investigation.
I wonder if he'll change because, to survive a canceling attempt is a rare thing nowadays.
He's either going to change or he's going to double down on what he believes and what he does already. Yeah. And then he's going to start a podcast or something. I don't know. We'll take a break. If you want to jump in, Cure Hotline, 615-844-5600.
Good afternoon. It's quite busy actually out here where you would expect on the South Loop, the West Loop, stacked up at times to 65 at Metro Center. 40's been in pretty good shape so far through Kingston Springs. Did see some radar earlier on I-40 out through parts of Wilson County. Looks like it's starting to get a little bit heavy there. 40 east at 840 just outside of Lebanon, again there in Wilson County. Hey, attention, Dentist Dental Staff School can provide you with qualified dental assistance. Google Dental Staff School. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Located at 5410 Murfreesboro Road in the heart of Laverne, City Slickers is one-stop shopping for all your liquor, beer, and wine needs and has been a multiple winner annually in the Best of Rutherford County voting for Best Liquor Store and Top Wine Shop. Featuring the lowest prices, the best customer service with unsurpassed knowledge, City Slickers offers the largest craft beer selection in Rutherford and southeastern Davidson counties and has beer on tap at its Growler filling station. City Slickers also sells mixers, sodas, snacks, tobacco products, and the Tennessee Lottery, and can place special orders and assist with all your events and even wedding planning. Make sure you follow City Slickers on all their social media or just give them a call at 615-280-7469. That's 615-280-7469. Located in the heart of Laverne, City Slickers.
Hey, it's Patton Cook from Run With It. Let me tell you about my friends over at Smiles by Design. Dr. Dwayne Jones and his team focus on providing you with personalized, gentle care that you deserve. Smiles by Design are one of the few practices that offer state-of-the-art, needle-free cavity fillings. I started going to Dr. Jones 2 years ago, and he has completely changed my smile. They are located at 105 Threet Industrial Boulevard, Unit 1001 in Smyrna. You can visit their website at drdwaynejones.com for more information, or you can call them at 615-355-1033. Again, their number is 615-355-1033, or you can search for them on social media at Smiles by Design. So be sure the next time you're looking for dentistry services, give my friends over at Smiles by Design a try. And don't forget to tell them Patton sent you.
Whether it's getting your day started with a clear mind, taking the edge off after a busy day, or hitting the reset button at night, Cure helps us be our most productive selves. Completely organic and free of THC, pesticides, and heavy metals, Cure focuses on specific need states with great tasting CBD products designed to help you focus, chill, and sleep. And that is exactly what the Cure brand products are named. Focus, chill, and sleep. Now available at select MAPCO locations. Visit thecurebrand.com to learn more and follow them on social media.
Get all your NASCAR news every weekday right here on the Final Lap. Hey, it's Kerry Murphy, and Christopher Bell had to win and did. He is racing in the Championship 4 at Phoenix this weekend. But everybody's talking about how Ross Chastain rode the wall to beat Denny Hamlin at the line. Up next is the final race of the 2022 NASCAR season. So grab all the latest NASCAR news, race recaps, driver interviews, stats, and info every single weekday. Wow, right here.
The show that makes you thankful for Braves games. The Afternoon Stretch with Zach and Bruno and Ray.
The verifications are getting wild. There's Pittsburgh Steelers verified account. To be fair, this is where you just got to be smart. You just got to not look at the title name of the post. You got to look at the ad.
And there's someone that doesn't hang around old people. I do judo, so
handles. They know what handles are. That was what CB Radio handles. That's where they all started from CB Radio.
The bold letters catch your eye. That's what it is.
Like maybe 18%. Zach, I'm telling you, you got to trust me.
CB Radio started the word handles.
Nick Fitzgerald said the same thing. He was like, "Why don't people just do a little of their own research?" It's like you guys, whatever. You guys can have your narratives. I hang around old people a lot, all the time, and they're like, "Did you see what Giselle said about Tom Brady?" It's like it's not real. It's not real.
At POTUS FDR 1918. That's what their ad is. It says Pittsburgh Steelers. We're very sad to announce the passing of Kenny Pickett.
Not real, obviously, if you're on these radio airwaves.
Not real. Kenny Pickett is alive.
Byproduct of the app Twitter.com being really stupid right now.
Yeah. It's really chaotic, and it's actually kind of fun. 615-844-5600 if you want to jump in. Cure Hotline, we want to hear from you. Let's talk a little bit more about Vandy and Clark Lee in that press conference. Talked about the Dan Jackson side of stuff. That seems like something that's going to continue to go on. I'm on the air that I believe he's not going to get fired. He's not going to take a leave of absence outside of what he's currently doing right now inside their internal investigation. My main reasoning is because of the Jermaine Burton situation that's going on with Alabama. I mean, that is as clear-cut as a thing that you could have, that you had a player who punched a person, I don't care where they were, on the field, off the field, doesn't matter, on video, punching a female in the face because he was upset that they lost and was too stupid to get off the field after obviously Tennessee was going to rush the field and was already doing it. It wasn't like that was the first or second person that ran by him, and that player's still going right now. Still playing for Alabama.
I don't like these equal. Or there's a word for the fallacy of this, but it's like a false comparison or something where it's like with the Kanye West stuff and everyone getting in trouble. People are like, Brett Favre got grilled by every major media outlet on the planet.
Yeah, they acted like it never was talked about.
So I don't like that. I don't like it when people are doing that. I don't like it and a lot of people pointed to Jermaine Burton. They're like, Jermaine Burton punched people. Like, why aren't people mad at this? I don't
True statement, though.
I mean, I guess if you want to be petty like that, I just wish people would have accountability for their own actions. Like, yeah, I did something stupid. Dan Jackson did something stupid. Jermaine Burton did something super stupid. Brett Favre did something absurdly stupid. They're all idiots, and I'm tired of acting like this guy did it worse thing, and he's not getting. What are you, 4? What are you, a child? Are you a little baby?
Are you saying that you just said earlier, I guess he did punch her in the face. Did you see the video? Do we need to show you the video? What are you talking about? That did happen.
Don't change the subject if I misspoke something, because you know what I feel about Jermaine Burton. I know he's an idiot. He punched that girl.
Yeah. But I'm not saying that one's worse or the other. I'm just saying that the fact that they're both things that people in the group think are going to say are bad, that if one is clearly okay in the sense of not being kicked off a team or anything, I don't think Dan Jackson is going to get off.
Vanderbilt does not care about groupthink. They're going to isolate, look at this instant. They're not going to look at Jermaine Burton and be like,
there you go. That's a question then. So how in-depth, what's going to happen here? Because, I mean, the investigation, that just seems like a buzzword, if anything. Vanderbilt. See, it's a post that we're going to. The one post. Are they going to go through every single post of his going forward, or going back into whatever he's posted?
They're going to isolate that post. They're going to bring in a panel of people that are employed by Vanderbilt that are high up, that are probably a part of the Jewish community, and they're going to be like, "What do you guys think we should do with this guy?" And then they'll give an answer, and then they'll forward that answer on. And it takes like weeks to do that because it takes weeks to get meetings with these people. But it is what it is. That's probably what they'll do. That's
because it's not really like an investigation. It's going to be more of like a committee.
Yeah,
searching.
There's nothing to investigate. He said that thing.
Yeah, it's on Facebook.
He's like, okay, he endorsed Kanye West. Well, what did Kanye West say? Well, Kanye West is on 300 podcasts, so let's look through every single one.
Just picturing all these Vandy elite just watching,
Kanye West Lex.
Yeah. Just weird Kanye West videos that are popping up. Well, I mean, if something else pops up, is there the possibility of something else that if they do an investigation, quote unquote investigation? If something else pops up that isn't maybe hadn't hit the internet streets yet, that he's posted this or that, do you think that comes out, or they try to like bury it?
No, they'd probably bury it and fire him, which would bring public fire. But Vanderbilt doesn't care. Vanderbilt's going to be Vanderbilt, and no amount of public fire. It's going to be in private universities. No one controls you, so they don't have to release anything. And Vanderbilt, they don't release anything. So
now let's talk about the rest of the presser, because I mean that's a big part of it. Lee's going to be asked that from here until a situation is resolved in any kind of way. That's the real side of this. But let's look at it from the players on the field stance. A.J. Swan not going to be on the field. You have Ken Seals, who is backup, and Clark Lee mentioned it, that this has been many cases for Vanderbilt where they've had to come in with their backup, whether it was Mike Wright or A.J. Swan, vice versa, however you want to put that. Ken Seals gets on the field. How do you feel if Ken Seals is on the field? Where is Ken Seals' head if coming up against Kentucky, something happens to Mike Wright? Maybe Mike Wright's not playing well. That could also be something. Maybe not injury. Where does Ken Seals look at? How does he look on the field, do you think? Because we haven't seen him play this year.
My prediction would be he looks like a cat that's got nothing to lose, and a lot of people think that's a good thing, and it can turn into a Ryan Fitzpatrick magic situation. But most likely it'll be him being like, "I'm going to throw the deep ball and throw 3 picks." That's probably what will happen. Because we've seen all of it. We've seen a lot of film on Ken.
Do you think we know Ken as a player just as he is?
Yeah.
There's no more growth for him. I'm legitimately asking this.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. There are people that get it done, and there are people that don't. And if you're like, if you give me 3 years, I can eventually get it done. No. Kyle Shermer started as a true freshman and was like, I'm going to get this thing done, and won SEC games. He just willed it to happen. There are people that do that. There's winners and there's losers. I'm not calling Ken Seals a loser, but he didn't get it done. And that you don't get rewarded for that in football. It doesn't happen. That's why he's the third string. Yeah, and if he has that other chance and he goes out there and wins the game, congrats. You're the quarterback for the rest of the time now. But that's your chance to prove it.
Yeah.
And it's so many other things. It's not just going on the field and like, I'm going to really lock in what I'm. No, do you meet with the O-line? You know what, Shermer? We met with Shermer once a week for like 2 hours every single week. And we just talked with him. We got in his head. He met with the backs. He met with the receivers. I wonder if these guys are doing that, you know? He made it a forward thing to go talk to his teammates and made sure they fought for him. When people hit Kyle, I felt awful. It was personal. And I'd rush up there and I'd go pick him up. When people hit AJ or Mike, or if they even care who's in at the time, do they take it personal? I don't know. I'm just not there. But it's those little things.
Have you noticed any of those kind of things while watching this?
I notice everything. Do you run down the field? If you're an offensive lineman and there's a 10-yard pass, do you sprint down the field and try and get extra block? Do you pick up your running back every play? Do you pick up your quarterback? I notice everything. And it's not, they don't. So, but not a lot of coaches teach that. And that's not the end-all be-all of success. Alabama doesn't do it sometimes. Clemson doesn't do it sometimes, but they're way better talent. If you're not a way better talent, you better do all the little things right, and you better take pride in it. That's another thing. Is like no one wants to do the BS. No one wants to do those little things. No one wants to run downfield 15 yards every single play. But when you suck, you have to. And I sucked, so I did it because I wanted to be. I didn't want to be a joke. I just want to look at kids out there that just don't want to be jokes, and there are a few out there. Orgy, their linebacker, dude could play on any SEC team. C.J. Taylor on defense, he's played really well. Thought A.J.'s played super well, 10 touchdowns, 2 picks. Ray Davis, he's played super well. I can't really say much about the O-line, but it's hard. You have to – this is the first step of a young man's life where you have to figure it out yourself. You always look at coach and you're like, Coach, what do we do? You have to grow up, drop your nuts, for a lack of a better term, and find ways to win yourself. This is your coming out moment of being a man, a leader, and coming into the adult world. That's what you have to do. You can't just sit back and be like, coaches will give us a good game plan and we'll go out there and we'll try our best.
Yeah, I mean, it's all on the players.
Do you like your coach? That's sweet and nice of you, like a coach. If you don't win, he gets fired. He gets fired. His kids don't get money. So, do you like your coach or not? Those are very real questions.
No.
It's not a game.
615-844-5600 if you want to jump in. Cure Hotline. Let's keep it college football. Let's change it up now. College football rankings that came out yesterday. Shout out Devlin. Nailed it. Live on the show yesterday. You're just big college football guy right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Simple. Just that simple.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, TCU, and then Tennessee, Oregon, next men out 5 and 6. How do we feel about this?
I mean, this is what everyone thought it was going to shape up to. So, it came out and they were like, wow, the committee got it right. At the end of the day, we could talk a million things about hearsay here, there, but I think it's going to be clear by the end of the season who the four are. A lot of people are like, but what if Ole Miss and LSU? And by the end of this year, we'll know who the best four teams are, and it'll be pretty easy, I'd assume.
I like that you just hey, I'm for it, but I like that you just diminished the attaboy I gave to Devlin.
Yeah.
Everybody already knew this, so who cares, Devlin? I mean, that just makes, warms the cockles of my heart. It's not. There's no way Ohio State, Michigan are gonna stay there. One of them's gonna flip. One of them's gonna go away. That's just how it is. They're gonna lose. That's gonna happen. TCU not gonna stay there. Tennessee, I think, gets in. I think as long as they just win, they don't have the burden of
play South Carolina, Vanderbilt, and someone else at the end of the season. I can't put my finger on who they're playing, but Vanderbilt and South Carolina have 2 of your last games. So.
Yeah. But yeah, it's pretty simple out for Tennessee. I don't know who the next team that possibly. I don't feel like Oregon gets in. I don't feel like Oregon will get in just because of the game against Georgia that happened already to start the season. Yeah. That one game, because if they get in, they're going to get in as the 4.
They're going to play against Georgia.
And they're going to play against Georgia.
And then probably get smoked.
And that's just how it's going to stay. Yeah, which Bo Nix is already shaking in his boots.
If there's any other one-loss team like Tennessee or even TCU, I say put them in over Georgia.
Clemson?
Not Georgia. Oregon. Oregon probably gets in over Clemson.
Ole Miss? I'm just naming other one-loss teams here. Ole Miss?
Ole Miss is not one loss, are they?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
One loss. But that would mean they have to win out.
Yeah.
On the West. UCLA?
Nah.
No?
Nope.
Let's see. Mizzou. Or sorry, not Mizzou. I looked down at a comment on Twitter. Mizzou is the game that Tennessee has left. Is what it is. Mizzou, that was sorry. I looked down completely. Womble, actually. Our good buddy Womble threw me off. North Carolina.
What?
North Carolina.
They're one loss?
One loss.
No shot.
Yeah.
What are they, 14th at one loss?
Yeah.
Wow, I got that right?
No, they are... Where I lost them now. I completely lost where they were. 15th. They were 15th. That's why I lost them. They were right next to it.
One loss Michigan or one loss Ohio State would get in over all these teams. So it's not even...
The last one-loss team that's in the top 25? Tulane.
No shot.
No shot, Tulane.
You got to be undefeated if you're Tulane.
Yeah, that's the only way. Let's go to the Cure Hotline, 615-844-5600 if you want to jump in. Bob in Goodlettsville. Bob, how you doing?
Hey, guys, doing pretty good. I've been in and out of the car and listening to you, so I apologize if y'all kind of covered this. But on this Dan Jackson thing with Vandy, I taught high school. My wife taught elementary. We made a decision a long time ago that we weren't – I don't even know how to get on Facebook, okay? I mean, people get in trouble on that. What I know about Twitter is from listening to y'all's show. And that's a whole different discussion. But, I just shake my head. I mean, if I was a coach at a major university in this country, that's the last thing. Even if I thought it, I'm not putting it out there for the whole world, to see. And just what a sad lack of judgment, I think, on his part. So I don't know. So just that was just my 2 cents worth. I retired, didn't get fired because I wasn't on Facebook.
All right. Hey, Bob, I appreciate the call.
No, Bob's 100% right, man. Like, if you can't see where people, because there's going to be people out there, some people probably we know, that are like, oh, you shouldn't get fired for saying these things. But where I'm not going to excuse you for being an idiot. Because if you're on social media, you see people losing their jobs and getting canceled every day for even sillier stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So why give people that opportunity? You can go and play the blame game all you want to. You know what college coaches told me? Own up and take ownership for the stupid things you do. And that was for like weighing a quarter of a pound over 3 weeks ago, and they wouldn't let me go after that. So when they do something stupid, we just have to be like, oh, so coach, I love you. Don't take my starting job. No, what he did was absurdly, otherworldly stupid. Just especially during the season. Most of the players don't get on social media during the season.
Yeah,
you just take the time off. And coaches have even crazier schedules. So who knows what he was doing? He did something stupid. Hopefully he learns from it.
Wonder if any whiskey was involved in this.
Very possible. We have to check the timestamp. But
yeah.
I guarantee you it's something that's possible.
Just something like that. Bob, I appreciate the call, buddy. We need to run to a break. If you want to jump in, 615-844-5600. Jump in. Final segment coming up here on the afternoon stretch.
Good afternoon. Looking at T-Dot over here on the South Loop. There's 65 northbound between Wedgwood and the South Loop on a stalled car. It was already slow up past Wedgwood. All that traffic up through Brentwood as well, coming north and south. Especially there on Morris Lane. Traffic's really busy out through Mount Juliet, but it's moving fairly decent out through Wilson County. Radar earlier out through Kingston Springs, continuing with the radar on I-40 out through certain parts of Dixon County as well. Hey, Nash Painting Services, all of Middle Tennessee. Check them out online. These guys are the pros. NashPainting.com.
Now's the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Join today to get started with $150 free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's free bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Sign up with the promo code Greg P. FanDuel has all your favorite bets, from the money line to point spreads to player props. You can combine all of those across a variety of platforms with same game parlays for a bigger payout. Live betting, you see a trend, something that's going on in a game, you can get updated odds on games that have already started and get you paid your winnings fast. All that on the app that's safe by using the promo code Greg P. All that on the app. Don't fumble your chance to get $150 in free bets, win or lose. Promo code Greg P. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. You got to be 21 and older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager, only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued, non-withdrawable. Free bets that expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line 1-800-889-9789.
Before you know it, the holiday season will be upon us, so it's time to start planning. If you're having a holiday party or event this year, then you should consider the Omni Nashville Hotel. Have a festive holiday party for your company, family, or friends at the most luxurious location in Music City. All your guests will experience the award-winning service from their well-trained, courteous staff at the Omni Nashville Hotel. Rooms that are second to none, and venues that will be the envy of all your guests. For smaller gatherings, reserve the private dining room inside Kitchen Notes. For a fun party atmosphere, consider bar lines. And for high-end corporate entertaining, choose Bob's Steakhouse. You can't go wrong when you book your party at the Omni Nashville Hotel. For more information or inquire about availability, just call 615-782-5333. That's 615-782-5333. The Omni Nashville Hotel, Music City's holiday party destination.
Tired of the same old company holiday party and looking to reward your team with a fun night out? What about something different for a birthday party or group gathering? Hello, this is Philip Cox of Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers, and we specialize in group events no matter the size at our Tusculum, Donaldson, Hermitage, Murfreesboro, and Hendersonville locations. Plus, Hendersonville and Murfreesboro offer enhanced entertainment options with bumper cars, laser tag, roller skating, and more. 'Tis the season to have fun with family, friends, and business associates, and there's no better place to do it than at Strike and Spare Family Fun Center. Visit strikeandspare.com to learn about the group outing option. Strike and Spare, where fun is bowling.
Your exclusive National Sports Radio WNSR Sky Scan forecast. This afternoon we'll have sunny skies with a high of 76. It'll be mainly clear tonight, below 48. Thursday, mostly sunny, high 74. Stray shower to start Veterans Day, then sunny. Utilizing the resources of the Weatherbug Network on National Sports Radio, I'm WNSR's meteorologist, Jim Rinaldi.
Sports Radio, WNSR.
The afternoon stretch. It's a radio show.
The afternoon stretch. Bruno Reagan, Devlin McKenzie, Zach Williams. Final segment here tonight on the afternoon stretch. 6:30, Memphis Grizzlies Spurs here on Nashville Sports Radio. 7 o'clock tip-off between those two squads, John Morant and crew trying to get the win. Eric Hasseltine on the call tonight. If you want to jump in, final segment, 615-844-5600 on the Cure Hotline. We are always in search of learning more about the sports of which we talk about, and Bruno and I both being in our 20s, we have to dive deep and look in what happened in today in sports history.
Today in sports history.
We always start with the very first one. Not as far back. Typically, it's like 1806, and it's some weird game of cricket that happened. This one is a rugby one from 1907. Edmonton Rugby Football Club, first game, loses to Calgary City Rugby Football Club 26-5 at Edmonton Exhibition Grounds.
Wait, what? 26-5?
26-5.
Jeez.
Have you ever thought about playing rugby?
Oh, okay. It was. I thought for some reason you said football, but like soccer. I was
No.
That makes
Sorry,
more sense.
no. Rugby.
No, I've never thought for a second about playing rugby.
I did for 1 second. There was 1 second. It was in Chattanooga. Well, I was at UTC, go Mocs, and there was the Nuga Rugby Club, is what they were called, and went out there. I got a shirt beforehand. I was like, hey, I'm gonna pick up rugby. You know, this will be fun. I didn't know much about rugby, honestly, but I was like, I'm gonna go do it. You know, the guys seemed cool. I was like, let's go do it. Watched one of their practices, and I was like, nope. Not doing this.
Yeah, I play sports. I mean, the reason I played football was for an education. This is because I liked it. So now I do it for money. It's not. So I'm not gonna be like rugby looks cool. Let me just do this. Nah. You know what I do for fun? Movies, games, eat. You know, not training is just it's part of a healthy balance of life. But rugby is just too much.
Well, it's football without the pads.
Yeah,
that's simply all it is. I mean, they have subtle differently on the rules, but the collisions and the scrum. I saw one scrum and I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing that. Are you kidding me? Why are we doing this? That's what I question. But ask me this question. Did I keep the shirt?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Wore it all around. I still hung out with the guys. They were cool guys. But there was no shot I was ever going to play rugby ever again. 1961. This is a huge one. It really is. A monumental one. 1961, the PGA eliminates Caucasians only rule. Today in sports history.
1961. Hey, man, your dad might have, if a lot of you listening, your dad might have been alive for that. If you're listening, you might have been alive for that. So just take a moment to
My dad was 1.
That wasn't too long ago.
He was 1 year old.
My dad, I don't think he was born yet. It was close. It was a close call.
Yeah. 1965, Willie Mays named NL MVP. Willie Mays, one of the best baseball players ever to play the game. Had the basket catch.
That's cool. I want to go back to that Caucasian one. Are Hispanic people Caucasian? Apparently we are.
That's a you conversation. I don't know.
I don't know either.
It's not a me conversation.
Apparently we are, according to the United States. So
I didn't know that.
I just wondered back then, were Hispanic people allowed to play too? Probably.
I feel like a lot of people don't know that you're Hispanic.
Yeah, I mean, because I hang out with my dad a lot, and he's super white. So.
And you're around me.
Yeah, you're white too.
Yeah, I'm very white. I'm a very white person. 1982, also Devlin.
Yeah, I mean, he's Ohio white.
He's Ohio white. It's like he's almost translucent. You know, you can almost see the Skyline chili working through him.
Looks like the Cookie Monster. Yeah, I don't even know why. I just started to say things.
1982, Sugar Ray Leonard retires for the first time. One of his retirings. 1984, Larry Holmes TKO's Bone Crusher Smith in 12 rounds for heavyweight boxing title. Bone Crusher Smith.
If your name's Bone Crusher, but you get technically knocked out, you don't get to be named Bone Crusher.
Yeah, your name's not Bone Crusher anymore, that's for sure. 1988, MLB All-Star Team beats Japan 8-2 in a Game 4 of 7 in between the World Friendlies there.
Yeah.
1996, 8th college football holy war. Notre Dame beats Boston College 48-21 in Chestnut Hill. What a name for a rivalry.
I know. No, that's so overdramatic.
What an absolute name for a rivalry. 1996, Evander Holyfield upsets Mike Tyson in 11th round knockout in Las Vegas to regain the WBA heavyweight boxing title. Second boxer after Muhammad Ali to win a heavyweight title 3 times.
Frankly, back when boxing was cool and fun, because right now it sucks.
Boxing really is bad right now.
Boxing sucks.
Not a Jake Paul fan.
Well, yeah, that's about it. I mean, you have to like YouTubers to, and that's the real side. Although I think now it's fair to say Jake Paul he's a boxer now. I think that's fair to say.
Would
you say that's fair?
I'm a radio talk show host, so he's a boxer. We're on different, it's one of the things. But listen, Jake Paul, at the end of the day, he's like, so in judo in BJJ there's blue belt, purple belt, brown belt, black belt. He's like blue, purple belt level. He's like an undercard boxer. I can't watch Jake Paul fight old people and be like, this is fun. I'm watching Jake Paul do like the slowest feints alive. I would much rather just watch no-name professional boxers.
Yeah, which it kind of feels like that's who his next opponent has to be. Because he's not going to fight Canelo.
Nate Diaz.
Yeah, probably will be Nate Diaz. And if he wins and
and everyone's talking about how successful this Jake Paul boxing stuff is. It's really not. They did like 200K buys with Anderson Silva.
Yeah, I feel like that one really, that one had zero hype going. And Nate Diaz will do better, for sure. Because Anderson Silva just was past his prime of people caring. Nate Diaz, people will care about it. That's for sure. Yeah. And he's coming off a win from the UFC, last fight ever in the UFC, so.
Yeah, and I know it's my job to try and bring insights. I'm really starting to if we start bringing Jake Paul up, I'm just not going to talk. It's just not it has negative 10,000 interest in me. It's so boring. It's not fun. When he knocked out Ben Askren and Ben Askren looked like just this fat cow guy, that was funny, but nothing was funny about watching elderly Anderson Silva get in there and try and do things.
Well, we have a special guest. Jake Paul, walk on in here. I'm kidding.
Hey, Jake Paul is, 6'1", 180? And he can box. You put him in a small room with me?
Well, I wouldn't say y'all are going to fight. I was just saying he was a guest of the show.
Well, what's he going to do? I'm sitting here trash talking to him. What's he going to do?
Explain himself? I don't know.
What? Explain what? I don't find you interesting at all.
Maybe he becomes interesting to you.
Probably not.
It was more or less just for a quick little throwaway joke.
Yeah, I guess. But have you ever heard Jake Paul? Have you ever seen him talk on a podcast?
No. I don't listen to any of those podcasts.
Inarticulate. He's not. He's just sucks.
He's really starting to become a boxer. That's really what it is. 2015 World Anti-Doping Agency Commission report recommends Russian Federation be banned from athletics competitions for running a state-supported doping program.
What year was this?
2015.
Okay, I was about to say, was this the 80s and then it happened again? Yeah, no. Russia has a big issue. What a terrible place. What a terrible place and what terrible people. No integrity.
This is a good one for Bruno to bring up the conversation again. 2019, YouTubers KSI and Logan Paul's second boxing match. KSI wins by split decision. That's really what effectively started all this.
Hey, Jake Paul is like an average boxer. Logan Paul is a terrible boxer. I'll tell you what Logan Paul isn't, though. He isn't a bad WWE superstar.
No, he's good.
Absolutely electric. Did you see him and all of his friends? They were wearing neck braces and had makeup for their injuries on their podcast.
Yeah,
they were like, you dragged us out to the Middle East to get us beat up, and you didn't do anything. They were so.
He leaned into it like Pat McAfee did.
See, if you're entertaining, truly entertaining, and you have a respect for your craft, I will get behind you. And they have a great respect for that WWE stuff. I'm glad Logan Paul shifted from boxing.
105-year-old Julia Hawkins in 2021 sets world record as first woman and first American her age to run 100 meters, Louisiana Senior Olympic Games. 105. I can't run 100 meters now at 29.
True. Same.
So,
I can't either.
Shout out her.
My calves will hurt.
Yeah, it's too much. We are done for the day. Remember, we got Memphis Grizzlies basketball here on Nashville Sports Radio, 6:30 broadcast time, 7 o'clock tip-off right here on Nashville Sports Radio. Remember, Thank you so much. If nobody's told you, I love you and you matter. Thank you to everybody who's called in, commenting, listening, however you did. We appreciate it. Back tomorrow, Thursday. Big NFL day on the show tomorrow here on the Afternoon Stretch.